Welcome to MOTS, where we'll be applying the Manzer or mostly Thurlow scale of quantitative analysis of pop culture narrative to a binary system.
MOTS!
This podcast contains spoilers, mature content, and language. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello there, and welcome back to MOTS. I, of course, am NASCAR fan and bank robber Scott Thurlow, here with Jane Manzer.
I am not a NASCAR fan, but I am a bank robber.
Rich Perry.
I am neither. I'm just kind of here.
Yep, and Stephen Omosi.
Yeah. Hi.
And you're even less than that.
How's it going?
And
they kidnapped me, and now I'm here.
Yeah. And having said all that, we're going to discuss Logan Lucky, the newest Soderbergh joint, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to go to E first with the intro body conclusion. Roll into one.
Okay. This is a heist flick with all of the standard narrative structure of a heist flick. You have the kind of call to adventure for the one character who needs to gather a team together for the big score. It's a bunch of quirky characters.
He's gathering his crew.
Yeah, it gathers the crew. The big day happens. Of course, everything doesn't go according to plan. You get to watch the wit of all of the crew as they have to solve individually like problems that crop up. And eventually, they, at least in Soderbergh's world, they end up successful. And you get to see them achieve their happiness, because Soderbergh doesn't write heist flicks with bad people. He writes them with good people, and you understand their motivations.
Sure, underdogs.
And you're rooting for them to succeed.
Mm.
And that's Logan Lucky, except it is through the lens of kind of a West Virginia style. I don't want to give a disparaging title of white trash, but that is kind of that's what all the characters are. They're poor, white.
Well, if you stereotype them, you would say that, yes. But they're actually more than that, of course.
Yeah, and they're robbing a NASCAR race field. But it's very charming flick. And this is what
kind
it
of
is.
What Soderbergh does.
Oddly enough, it's in a sense the opposite of Ocean's 11, where it's a bunch of kind of wealthy, smart people, where it's sort of like poor, slightly dumb characters, but you're rooting for them all along. That's what's important there.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of... in a way, it is the same as Ocean's 11. Well, obviously Soderbergh does Ocean's 11, 12, and 13. But in a way, it is kind of the same in that it's like these down and out crew decides to do this heist,
pull an outrageous robbery. Sure.
But whereas the Ocean's 11 crew is a bunch of professionals, these guys are just
working class heroes,
smarter guys than you expect them to be, I guess, and like. They kind of, and it is a really well done heist movie in that regard.
Because I think what really sells it is how you don't expect these people to have as much expertise at this as it turns out they do. Yeah, every single time that they pull something off, it catches the audience off guard. In the same way that I bet the law enforcement felt in the confines of the movie.
Sure.
It feels... It's a quirky film. It's an absurd. Obviously, it wouldn't happen, but it feels realer than the Ocean's movie. Where
to a degree, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Aside from perhaps the main character played by Channing Tatum, Jimmy, being the big twist is that he's actually this kind of brilliant criminal mind. Everyone else, Joe Bang, Daniel Craig, is a professional. He's committed crimes before.
Sure.
He knows how to use explosives. But the rest of the crew are kind of slapdash people who watched Ocean's 11 and said, we can do this as well.
Sure. Well, I said that I've been neglected to do our funny logline, but I think it's pertinent here, where I came up with Hell or High NASCAR. That is, drawing some parallels between Hell or High Water from last year to some of the general things contained in this movie. One being they're your backwoods,
down and out Southern boys. Need some money. Basically.
Exactly, and they pull off an elaborate heist and get away with it.
I would say though, Ian, I think you're giving less credit to Clyde than he deserves, because I think that he's kind of like the low key mastermind to this.
Sure, which is Jimmy's brother.
He's Jimmy kind of comes up with the whole plan, but he needs Clyde to approve it before he does anything, because he knows that anything that he gets wrong, Clyde will fix or like tell him what he needs to do.
And whatever Clyde misses, Melly's going to pick up the slack.
Yeah, exactly. Melly is an important part of this too. Like on the down,
they're a good dynamic.
Even more down.
They have a good family dynamic, and they recruit the people that they need in their crew to round it all out. So, what are you going to give it?
It pulls off. So I'm going to give it a slight caveat here. I'm going to give it a 3 because it is formulaic. It does, but it pulls off that formula very well. But there's a twist at the end, or it's kind of a red herring twist.
Yeah,
you think,
redneck herring.
Yeah,
we'll call it.
You think that Jimmy has grown a conscience and decided to give up all the money at the end. And I was actually like, I believed the film when it said this. And I'm like, you just ruined this film. Because this guy has sacrificed all these people's well-being, threatened everyone with long prison terms for nothing. And then it turns out, no, he was smart. He outsmarted me, or the screenwriter outsmarted me. I have to give it full credit for that. Yeah. The twist worked perfectly. And so I'm going to give this a very strong 3.
I pretty much agree. So I don't have much more to say. Like, yeah, it is sort of a template, sure, and like Soderbergh is kind of a if not a master, then maybe so. He knows what he's doing within this type of film, and it came out very well. And like that, yes, I was pleasantly surprised by that the ending little reveal, if you will. So that's probably why I'm going to give it a 3. Like, even though, like I said, it works off a formula you've seen before, I think it does that super well. So
yeah, I agree with that. As you said, as far as the twist goes. I really love the twist. But what I will say is this. For like a second, I was in the same boat as you, Ian, and then I was like, but this movie has operated on the idea that the audience doesn't know what's going on, and therefore I must not know what's going on here, so there must be something else that's like at play. There's got to be a way to get the money out of this.
You're metagaming the movie,
yeah,
yes.
Of course, which is what I do with every movie now. But like... and the other thing is that, yes, you're right. It would have been completely unsubstantial of an ending if that was the case. And I knew that Soderbergh was directing this, and I knew that Soderbergh would never do that to his audience. So I knew that there had to be a way that they got the money.
If they decide to go with that, it would have to have taken a much darker ending, where there have been repercussions for...
Well, what I was expecting, if it was going to go along with that ending, I thought that Jimmy was going to be the one to take the fall for everything.
But that would have been way out of the feel of the movie, though. That would have changed the entire... Like that.
Sure,
no. That late in the game, it's way too. Way too late to go that dark.
Because the Logans have bad luck.
Sure, kind of, but like, I mean, yeah, they do, they do based off of Clyde's
not anymore
narrative.
They broke the curse.
Well,
but the thing is that this movie is entirely way too like lighthearted to like start killing off characters at the very end.
Well, I wasn't going to say he was going to die. I was going to say he was going to go to jail.
Yeah, but then it's. As long as something really dark doesn't happen there, it makes for an unsubstantial ending, I think is what I'm saying, unless they actually get the money.
I like dark cinema, and I'm glad that they didn't do it with this work. I like the lighthearted ending. I like the feel of these people who really don't deserve to have pulled off a heist of this caliber actually getting away with it. And just one last point on it is that they do a good job of showing NASCAR kind of being dicks in general, not the organization, but the drivers. These people were supposed to be heroes for that working class. One of the guys eating sushi, and the other guy's just cares about his product placements. So they create a good.
That's something I was going to say is like if you notice, he did a really good job of subtly putting product placement all over the place in this movie.
Yeah,
and like the fact that it was a NASCAR movie, I really appreciated that. Like, just
I was going to speak about it in style, but yeah. I mean, you're right. I did notice it, but I also, like I said, going to give it 3. I think it was very engaging, entertaining throughout, and came together, and like I said, pulled off its plot heist plot pretty damn well.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 3. Initially in the beginning of the introduction, I was like having second thoughts, but then. I suppose it's when Jimmy said cauliflower that it kind of just hit the ground running and my attention was on it for the whole...
I guess that traditionally would be the Act 1, but sure, I see what you mean.
I'm going to give it a 3 as well, yeah.
All right. Well, there we go, across the board. And that'll bring us to themes with you, Rich.
Let's see. Themes, I would say, are... Got to know when to fold them.
I guess.
I mean, he never like this whole
That's
heist.
one of the rules.
Yeah.
Don't get greedy,
Yeah,
sure.
don't get greedy and no one hang it up, no one to walk away.
Yeah.
And they stole enough. I
Sure.
mean, every bit of the plan had just enough going for it, where that they didn't overstep their bounds, and it was it was like a high. I guess it was kind of a high level heist, but it was like it.
I think it was very high level heist.
They pulled it off in such a way because they didn't go outside. They didn't overstep their bounds.
Sure, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Each piece that they had just fit perfectly in the puzzle.
Yeah, so I thought you might say like family because ostensibly Jimmy is or divorced, I suppose, or his ex-wife has custody of their daughter, so he sees her on weekends or they share or whatever, and he obviously cares about seeing his daughter, Sadie, I believe her name was. Mm-hmm. So like that kicks off some of the you get some establishing motivation and so forth behind him. So that was in there, but like like sticking it to the man, I guess, like a la Hell or High Water. Like ostensibly they're robbing like the thing that I think one of the Bang brothers says, "You rob a NASCAR? That's like robbing America, man." Yeah. He says something like that. But like,
it's like even like because introducing the fact that most of the authorities they were stealing from, or most of the people that were involved that they were stealing from, were absolutely incompetent and dickish.
Yeah,
but I feel like that was like more of an afterthought.
But the thing is, like, that's certainly true. But I wanted to remind you guys of the fact that they weren't originally supposed to rob the NASCAR day race. They were supposed to rob some other low-level shit. Yeah. Against like some low-level corporation that's got the slowest day of the year.
Although, were they? Because there was a lot of that plan we didn't know.
I guess that's true.
I'm thinking that
it's possible that
the NASCAR race was the original plan.
You're right. I mean, you might have just Soderberghed me, I guess, I suppose. I see what you mean. But either way, I think it's like, it has the same sort of sentiment and thematic elements as, like I said, something like Hell or High Water. Mm-hmm. Or like, something equivalent like that. Like modern day Robin Hood's essentially like, representing those who would like to do the same thing themselves in reality because corporations and so forth have taken over.
Now,
they don't really actually care about their fans.
This is going a little bit into protagonists, but I think it's important to address it for themes. Look at Jimmy as a character. He was a football player at LSU. Mm. He got hurt.
He was Johnny Utah.
Yeah. Returns home.
Went to work in a coal mine instead.
And loves his daughter.
Sure.
But here's the thing is, I thought Jimmy was dumb until he proved me otherwise.
That's what he wanted you to think.
Exactly.
So you think this themes is like subverting expectations?
But here's the thing is, I think the idea is we're looking at his brother's a one-armed Iraq veteran. You have Joe Blow, who is
Joe Bang.
Or Joe Bang.
Either one works.
who you see him as Daniel Craig's character. You see him as just this criminal, but they all come together to pull off a heist equivalent. Like the Ocean series is in a sense a predecessor to this.
Sure.
Except that here it's fresh again because you're constantly thinking these characters aren't as good as these polished products prior.
And I think they really throw it in your face when like they actually take the time for Joe Bang to do the calculations
on the wall.
That was a great moment.
It's not like he's just fucking throwing gummy bags in a bag.
He's doing chemistry for them, explaining them how it works. Yeah, it was a really good moment.
He knows the chemistry of everything and is able to explain it.
So don't underestimate West Virginia. Sure. I think that's what the theme is.
Well, maybe it's one of them, but I think all those aspects in some form, way, shape, or form are contained within the film, and I think it handled them all pretty well and touched upon them in a way I enjoyed.
Yeah, I would say it was kind of mentioned and then slightly like glossed over in the beginning of when we started talking about themes. Family is a huge part of this movie.
Yeah, that's what I started off with, but like I said,
an enormous part of this movie. I think it's maybe the main theme of this movie. The strange like combination of families that happen in this flick are
the Bangs and the Logans.
Like they feel real and they feel like explored.
Well, I loved how
his relationship with his daughter, his relationship with his brother and sister, are both like very real. And then not only that, but like you just said, the Bangs, the Bangs whole family dynamic.
It's like the very first thing he said is like, "I need my brothers in on this to make sure it's legit."
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that was really important to when they were writing the script.
No, I agree.
to the story.
They clearly considered those things and, like, polished them, if you will.
Right. But that said, I'm going to give it a 1.
All right.
Yeah.
Everyone, 1 on that? Alrighty. And that'll bring us to you, Steve-O, in fact, with antagonist. NASCAR.
This is
Next.
a tough one for me. I don't know if there's any, like, good antagonist. Because I don't even, like, I guess you could say, like, his crushing debt. The reason that he needs to go
like Hell or High Water style,
but I don't feel that as an antagonist. You know, like, I never. The movie never really makes you feel it as something that's antagonizing.
I see what you mean, and I sort of agree.
I think this might be one of, if not my only 0 for this movie. I don't think that there is a good, like, hard antagonist.
Now, I knew you were going to say that, and in this case, I probably agree more than I would normally when this happens. But, like, you're right. Like, what was antagonizing? Nothing really. Not even each other. They had, like, some bumpy spots, but for the most part, they worked very well together. Each one fulfilled their part of the plan. And then, even though only, I suppose, Jimmy and Clyde and Melly knew the actual overall plan,
right?
Like, they still managed to get pulled off perfectly fine. And, yeah, the cops weren't chasing them, like, nothing like that. Like, I don't know.
So... what could have been an antagonist and probably would have been in a different version of some is the husband of his ex-wife.
Yes.
I'm so glad that they didn't do that.
They didn't do that, and I've got to. And he was he came across as like a kind of a
doofus, but well-meaning. Yeah, exactly.
He's kind of like a low-level jerk.
He's a square.
Like,
he's a square.
He's a guy that you meet in everyday life.
Was he a jerk though? I mean, like most of his antagonizing behavior came from like Melly talking shit about his.
I think most of his antagonizing behavior actually came from the way that he treated his kids.
Maybe, but
and not only his own kids, but Jimmy's kid.
Oh, by taking them out to see Fast and Furious.
Yeah, and, like it's nothing that bad.
That is
like,
torture.
Yeah, we're going to see a movie.
Kid.
He's like, isn't that a little crazy for them? They're pretty young. He's like, nah, they're fine. They just sit there and watch it. Like he's just kind of a.
But by no means is he trying to stop Jimmy from seeing the.
He even invited him along to go to see the movie too.
Yeah, in fact, no, whatever his name is, like I don't know if they said her new husband's name, but
they
like
definitely did, but I don't remember.
You're right. It was a great subversion because you think like he's like sort of like your white collar kind of worker guy who came in and is now brought his kids, I suppose, or had new kids with her. And in any other movie, most other movies, he'd be like, "Yeah, fuck you, Jimmy." Like they'd be like the whole time. Yeah. But really, he was sort of
he's
like
not trying to be
a low level idiot himself. And you thought Jimmy was supposed to be the moron, right? Like really at the beginning. But Jimmy outsmarted everybody, and especially him. He's just sort of there, like, all right, see you later.
Yeah.
So,
his name is Moody, by the way.
Sure.
Save it for later.
So there's also like, there's a lot of where it could have been theoretical antagonists in this, but I think what they tried to do, and probably the best argument for an antagonist, is the personification of NASCAR. With the two drivers, and kind of but I think that was more towards allowing them to rob this place by showing it's filled with jerks who have too much money anyway.
Really, I think that was just like a low-level like social commentary more than trying to make something antagonist. I mean, it was there so little.
It was both at once, like a little bit to each degree. I agree with both of your sides, is all I'm saying.
But I'm actually on Steve-O's side. These are things that they attempted to do, but I don't think that necessarily the antagonist existed.
Yeah.
Even like, they just tried to make you not... to dissuade you from feeling guilty about their robbery. Because when they saw the guy at the end, a bureaucrat at the end who was owning this thing, he's like, oh, insurance covered everything that was stolen anyway. So, like, I don't know if there was a particular, aside from the economic downturn, there was any real antagonist.
What I actually really appreciate this movie, and like I'm still going to give antagonist a 0, but I kind of appreciate that it didn't have an antagonist because there were several points where people were introduced or ideas were introduced that in another movie would have been the antagonist. And they get subverted at every turn throughout this movie.
That's true.
And I kind of like that about it.
I have an idea for an antagonist.
All
right.
Incompetence.
Yeah, but that's also not antagonizing during the movie. Actually, anytime that there's incompetence shown...
They overcome it. I see what you mean.
Well, at least on their part. It's shown to be actual competence.
Yeah.
And there was not really that much incompetence on the part of like the rent-a-cops go and like pretty thoroughly search around and like go look for where the smoke is coming from.
Yeah, but they never questioned any single. They barely questioned any single person that walked out of like the abyss.
But like that's real life.
I mean, you have and then you have the warden who was so incompetent that he allowed two prisoners to escape and sneak back in, and when they were pressed for information. denied the whole thing. He's like, no, they never left.
Well, that was like a running joke. We don't have an escape problem.
That's the opposite of an antagonist because it only helps the protagonist. It doesn't antagonize them at all.
So would you switch the protagonist into antagonist role and have the antagonist be the protagonist?
No, I would just say there is no real antagonist.
I think I'm going to go with a default 0. Like again, nothing against the film. Logan Lucky was awesome. It's just that
I tried.
It seemed to like noble effort, Rich.
Let's try, Rich.
Does that mean you're going to give it a 1 then?
No.
Or you're going to give it a 0 as well?
No,
I was more trying to convince myself than anything else.
Fair enough. And 0 for you?
Yes.
All right. All right. Well, that'll bring me, in fact, 2 protagonists. So we covered a lot of it. You said a bunch. Jimmy, and I will count Clyde, or Clive, is it? Clyde, I believe. Either one. The Logan brothers. Kylo Logan.
Clyde Loren.
Sure. Yeah, I like it. Clyde Loren. We'll go with that. And I suppose, you tell me.
It is Clyde, by the way.
Fine. Cool. Does anyone else, though, like, you think count, or they're the protagonist? Or is Jimmy only a protagonist? Because I think he and Clyde are equally important, or each given a lot of time, so I'll open it up.
I'm going to actually...
Jimmy's more important.
go back for precedence on this to the Oceans. Like, George Clooney and...
Brad Pitt
were certainly the protagonists, even though it was an ensemble piece.
Mm.
Soderbergh likes to focus on a singular character to be the face of the organization.
Of their little group.
And I think Jimmy was the face of Lucky Logan. He was the Lucky Logan. So...
Logan Lucky.
Logan Lucky. Whatever. I don't disagree.
Logan.
I just... You're right. Framed through that, like, say that as such, I would probably agree more than I was going to that Jimmy is, like, the protagonist, like, as the face of their little, like, heist group. But I still, like, I would almost maybe have lumped Clyde in there, but I may not now. But I would definitely give Jimmy a 1. I would have given it a 1 if it was both of them. I'll still give Jimmy a 1. I thought he was a well-rounded character. Channing Tatum did a pretty good job of, kind of, if not breaking out, like playing a different character than you would expect him to play.
The last few movies that he's done.
Yeah, and I think
he's done a good job.
Like I said, he did a good job being convincing and like, he's just some redneck worker guy, but actually smarter and got a better plan. And I believed his interactions with his family, with his daughter, with his brother, with everybody. So I'll give him a pretty solid 1.
Yeah, he really drew me into this movie.
Mm.
Like, especially the interactions with him and his daughter.
Yeah.
Like, to start off the movie with him just fixing a car with her.
Yeah, that was a great establishing scene for sure.
It was fantastic. And to show, and especially to give and like they gave his his character, they gave it a good showing of who he is as a person by his boss having such regret over having to fire him.
Sure.
Establishing it that it was nothing of his fault.
Yeah.
Other than an injury.
It was a bureaucratic red tape thing.
Yeah.
Sure.
And it really set him up as like a hardworking blue collar guy who just got fucked over by the system.
Yep.
And life in general.
To rob a NASCAR.
Yeah.
Exactly. So.
Not like you haven't thought about it. You've all thought about robbing NASCAR.
I don't think about NASCAR.
Not even about robbing them.
I completely agree with that. I think that if Jimmy's the sole protagonist, which that's probably where I fall on this. He does a great job. Channing Tatum does a great job. The character's written really well.
Yeah.
And the kind of the arc that you see him go through is interesting, and it's a it's an up and down kind of ride, like we were saying.
Sure.
At the end, you kind of think that his character arc has landed him somewhere where it actually has not. Which is interesting until you find out what actually happened in the heist.
Oddly enough, this might be weird to say, but he had good chemistry with the girl playing his daughter, and
she was a very decent child actor as well. We'll mention that.
But I think that's what really sold the emotional impact is that
it was very believable.
They felt like father-daughter. The little small details of him, like buckling her into her car seat.
Yeah.
And all that kind of...
the high fives that he makes her miss every time.
it really... This movie worked because I cared about Jimmy's life. Mm. And I have to give that a lot to the script, but also to Channing Tatum.
To the portrayal, sure. Yeah. So 1's all around. Mm-hmm. For Jimmy Logan... All right.
JL.
That'll bring you up again with secondary characters.
Well, I'm going to give 2.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to pass it off to all of you.
Good.
First is George R. R. Martin.
Fair The specter of George R. R. Martin, even.
Which, I don't want to ruin the joke, but perhaps that's the best joke in this.
It comes out of nowhere, but it is so awesome,
it's so good. But Daniel Craig, who... I thought it was a guy who looked like Daniel Craig. I didn't.
Ian truly did not believe it was Daniel Craig until we told him it was after the movie.
He did a phenomenal job as Joe Bang. Yeah. To the point where I actually think he should perhaps get a nod for Best Supporting Actor.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was really out of type for what I've seen him play.
Sure.
He had a ton of fun doing it. And if not Channing Tatum holding this movie together, it was Daniel Craig who elevated it above just a mediocre heist.
I can agree with that.
He had a lot of fun. He was a great character, and that's really all I have to say about him.
Right.
I'll pass it along.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that. I think that Melly and Clyde were really good.
Damn it, I was going to
side
pick
characters. As the like tie-ups of the family. I guess I'll stick to 2 as well. There's a bunch of supporting characters in this.
I'll go last.
But actually, really, I think Melly. I don't know the actress that played her, but I think she might be one of the most underrated characters in this movie.
I fully agree.
You know, she's not the one you first remember when you're thinking of it, but she is.
Yeah, you sort of like almost write her off
to the film
in a sense. Like maybe that's like a presupposition, and the movie like almost leads you to do that, and then she comes back in a great way and shows it all out.
And she does it. The actress does an amazing job as her.
But if you go back over a lot of their plans, all of her input is integral to it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like it's not obvious until like the
she's
classic
doing
like
the cockroach.
So they show you.
She does the cockroach. She does the measurements to get them the.
She just like after the whole heist goes when they're doing the flashbacks. She has an entire B plot you don't see.
Yeah, exactly. You don't see her true contribution to all the bird's eye view, the whole puzzle piece.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys are right about that. So good, Rich. I imagine you're giving it a 1 for secondary.
Definitely.
And who, if not everything they just said, who else did you like?
Was still mine, but I guess this is the other 2, the younger Bang brothers.
Seeing that, and you stole mine. There's nobody left really, but I really like them a lot. Go on.
Yeah. I guess you could do Jimmy's daughter.
I don't normally pick children. I'm not gonna. She was good. She was very good in it. I was more entertained by the younger Bang brothers, if you will.
Yeah.
Well, you have Katie Holmes, Bobby Joe, and
she was not really important
husband.
though.
Yeah, she was there. But
I feel like if there's
Naaman.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Well, like you have like Bobby Joe and like her new husband. They seem like the kind of characters that would be important in the sequel.
Yeah.
Like, if they were going to pull off another heist, they would have to bring those 2 in.
Exactly. No, like, I immediately... I don't know, go ahead.
Yeah, but, like, the younger Bang brothers,
they were I had the most fun watching them.
Yeah.
And
they
even
were important
because
I
spent the entire movie waiting for them to fuck up in some way.
Yeah, exactly. Of course. That's what the movie wants you to think.
And then, like, every time there was something where, like, they messed up on it was so minuscule and got fixed so easily. I was like, well, maybe it'll be the next one.
Yeah, well, because they kept subverting it. Like, the first time they're mixing the explosive as per the instructions. And, like, you're like, they're gonna redneck blow shit up. And, like, yeah, they did that, but A, it was part of the plan anyway. They just, like, weren't ready for it, per se. And everything else, like you said.
The last instruction is run.
Yeah.
They're like, run. He's like, ah!
Yeah. So, like, yeah, again, it subverts itself a bit here and there.
And then, like, passing out drunk.
Yeah.
And then, like, almost waking up late. Or not waking up at all.
Yeah, again, the movie sets you up to like, these guys are going to fuck up and the whole thing's going to fall apart at some point.
But they were never trusted in the first place. That's the entire reason that they can't screw anything up.
I mean, I guess.
Like, they set that up in the beginning of the movie.
Anyway, sort of. But I love their intro scene at the little fair, whatever. Fair. And I love seeing them every time their part of the plot came up and their little piece of the heist.
Plus, they kept showing up in so many points. I was like, oh my god, I almost forgot about you guys.
Yeah, but it's like the classic Soderbergh like brother team, as I was saying, you guys like precast. They're like
the idiot brothers.
They're just like the general like the jack of all trades for your heist movie. So they're doing everything, and they had good chemistry as well. So
there's a lot of other characters involved in this, but it's all quirkiness. It's all like, and the thing is, even like the most minuscule character, like the purple-haired woman. Who just
purple-haired old lady?
Who just talks shit and is there for a distraction. Really, when they set her up, like every single character is perhaps not memorable, but at least felt like they were in this weird environment.
Yeah, they feel that
every single one of them gets a callback too.
Yeah, yeah.
And it felt like they paid attention when they were writing these characters. Like it wasn't just like, oh, we need to throw like cast off supporting characters.
Yeah, true.
Be a lamppost in this scene or whatever. It's like they paid attention to those characters and their motivations when they were writing them.
Sure.
Which I think made it feel more real.
Yep,
Yes.
I definitely agree. So I'll give secondary 1. I believe we all are.
Mhm.
Sounds like.
Supporting, yeah.
All right, and kind of speaking of quirkiness, we're going to go on to dialogue with Rich.
I love the dialogue in this movie. I mean, it's very important to pay attention to this movie because you will easily miss some of the best lines in this film.
Yeah.
I think it takes a cue from a lot of the British comedies that I like, where you have to keep an ear open in order to get the full weight of everything. I mean, let's see. I'm trying to think of some favorite lines. You guys go first if you have any.
I'm just saying, I'm not on quote because this movie is very quotable, but I think you should see it. I won't do it justice to any quotes, but I will say it's snappy and it's entertaining as hell. People are quipping back and forth or again, subverting things, that you didn't, he'll never know about that. And then he's given a little lesson about something very specific and elaborate. So yeah, it was sort of nonstop. It just bounces off each other. And even the sort of quieter moments, like the family when he's with his daughter or when he's hanging out in the bar talking to his brother, even that was entertaining. And it was it wasn't the, planning stage.
Well, some
but
of
it was
those
still
are
just
some of the
nice,
most
believable.
important, character building.
Yeah, exactly.
Sections of the movie, and they're really well done.
Oh well, I also want to add a lot of the planning and a lot of the major points that go along with this heist are done in such normal conversation. When he's trying to sell the idea to Clyde, and he just cuts him off, and he comes out with a model.
He has a fucking diorama.
It's I'm only halfway through my presentation, so I would appreciate it if you just sit there and. Are we done?
Yeah.
All right, can I continue?
Yeah. It's all kind of, again, snappy stuff like that, but even, not nonstop, but it is because it's sort of like that, as you said, Rich, you do have to, I would say, pay more attention than you might have otherwise because you'll miss something funny or that is relevant later. So yeah, but
Don't go in expecting a dumbass Dukes of Hazzard movie or something like that. This is not.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree. I don't have much more to add to dialogue. It was very entertaining, like I said, throughout, and it was written very well, of course, and everyone's portrayal, even added an extra layer to it.
Right.
I don't know if this goes into dialogue or style, but on Jimmy's fridge is I think a 10-point, 12-point list on how to rob a bank. And that is, in retrospect, an incredibly important document that outlines how this movie is going to unfold.
Yeah, pretty much. It's true.
Even if it seems simplistic when you first see it.
When he goes and he finds out that they finished up early, I was just about to turn to Scott and say, I guess this is when shit happens. When Melly
and the
comes
movie
on screen,
did it for us.
I guess this is when shit happens.
Yeah, here's what I would say. This is a movie watching, maybe not 101, but this is a movie watching 201 tip. If at any time a movie slowly scrolls over a list of things, pay attention to that list of things because they're going to be very important.
They give you enough time to read the whole list.
Yeah.
And I was surprised about that.
Yeah.
So waiting for them to cut away halfway through.
Because I was
exactly that's that.
Another kind of subversion.
They showed that fairly early on, and as soon as they started slowly scrolling, I was like, all right, read the shit out of this right now because every single one of these points is going to be important in this movie.
Sure.
Yeah.
But you're right. I would count that somewhat as dialogue.
Oh, man.
And then they pan to it.
I just thought of something.
Yeah.
This might go into style, but fuck it. But he never actually crosses off the last piece.
He doesn't. Yeah, you're right.
He just burns the note.
That's true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good catch. True.
So I actually, when I saw that, I was kind of wondering whether that means he's crossing it off with fire, or if he actually didn't hang it up and walk away in some way. Perhaps that might be a point for the sequel as well.
Exactly.
I think they're definitely setting up for a sequel to this.
Yeah. There's a lot in place.
I'd be disappointed if they didn't.
Yeah, it's no accident that stuff is in there.
Yeah, but even if they didn't, I'd be happy with this, just as one.
Yeah, it stands on its own, but they certainly have enough in there, and so it sounds like we're all giving dialogue a one.
I laughed.
Strong.
Yeah, and you're right. It's very amusing in a good way too. It's good jokes.
There was.
And good setup, good punchline.
I feel like the four of us were the only four laughing now.
No, other people started laughing. The theater wasn't all that filled anyways, but...
Rich, when you started laughing out loud, other people felt comfortable.
You started it.
Right? Gave people permission to laugh as well.
What are you going to say, Steve?
I was going to say, just really briefly, that there were great laughs. It was a really funny movie, and as far as the comedy goes, but also there were really poignant, emotional points in this movie as well.
You're right. Absolutely right.
And there were moments of tension as well, this kind of the language that Soderbergh speaks when he's directing a movie is kind of that cross section there, and does it again. He does it very well again in this.
Yep, nope, you're absolutely right about that. Good call. So, speaking of, since you brought it up, we'll go on to style with you, Steve-O.
The style of this movie...
Soderbergh.
is,
I don't know what to say. Like, that's going to be my answer.
It is very Soderbergh, but it's very well done in terms of like the cinematography, which you expect from a Soderbergh movie. The music is good throughout. There are even like music callbacks and like points within this movie that specifically call to that your emotional feeling upon hearing a song like Country Road. And I just think that overall, I'm gonna leave a lot of this stuff to you guys, but like overall, the style of this was very recognizable as Soderbergh, but also even for him, really well pulled off.
Yeah. Before you go, sorry, I don't know much more. I agree. He's a craftsman, and he knows what he's doing, so it shows, and that's why it's good style.
I feel like the screenwriter was writing a love letter in a way to West Virginia here, or at least, and to the people who from there, because it being a comedy about kind of like trailer
park boys, trailer park robbery.
Yeah, could be you laughing at them, but it's not.
Yep,
you're
right.
laughing along with their.
In fact, you're rooting for them.
Yeah, and it like Hell or High Water, where it did, where you embrace their tragedy and you understand what they're going through. This is, in a sense, the lighthearted version of that. But that's the important thing, though, is I never felt. I was looking that the jokes were ever punching down upon them. They're always kind of. It felt like I was watching in-jokes amongst people from like in the NASCAR, like when they made fun of NASCAR. It was kind of like people who watch NASCAR making fun of it, and I think that was very important.
I agree.
Yeah.
So it's ones for style for everybody. Sounds like all right.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, and we're back. Yep. And that'll bring me back to recommendation. Yes, I recommend Logan Lucky. It was quite entertaining for all the reasons we just said. I got some pretty I didn't know much about it. I forgot that this movie even existed for till 2 days ago.
I honestly didn't know that Soderbergh directed it.
And me neither. I forgot about that fact too. So I didn't know that going into it. I only remember after the fact after we walked out. So I was like, oh, okay, that's why it was really fucking good. So yeah, I mean, if you like his style, if you like heist movies, if you like pretty decent comedy with some family drama thrown in, which all is again frameworked in a heist movie about NASCAR, it's got a lot of stuff, and it sustains itself throughout, and I think it's definitely worth a watch.
This is not an important movie, but it's a fun movie.
It's a good summer movie. Yeah.
It's a movie of our time, and I mean, there's a couple of jokes in there which are going to be really dated in 5 years or so, but for right now, it's well worth a watch. It's touching. It's funny. It's everything I wanted out of a movie for right now. So
So this movie subverted my expectations hard, and the twist caught me off guard, which I can't say for many movies nowadays. So
it's few and far between.
It's few and far between when that happens. So I definitely recommend this one.
Alrighty.
Yeah, looking back, I think that I'd have to watch this and Ocean's 11 again, but I think I might like this better than Ocean's 11. I think that it was, as you guys said, very well done, enjoyable to watch, a great summer film, just a fun summer film to watch, and I definitely also highly recommend it.
Alrighty.
So that's going to be it for me.
You damn right. Well, that is a very easy score then. It's a 9s from all of us, and for the exact same reason, we only gave antagonist a default 0. So yeah, Logan Lucky, check it out. It was excellent, and hopefully we'll see a sequel at some point later down the line as well. I've been here with Stephen Amosi.
Have a good one.
Rich Perry.
Good evening.
Jane Manzer.
good evening.
And I'm Scott Thurlow, West Virginia. Take me home.
Editing and engineering by Jonathan Ian Manser. Music by Christopher Morgan. Check us out on YouTube and iTunes for the shows, and on Facebook and Twitter for updates.